Hi, I'm Becky Swan from Crafters Companion, and here are our new templates from Threaders. This first one is our storage roll, which will create this really lovely item for you to store your crafty supplies in there. It's got a couple little pen places and also some little pockets in there as well. This is the little item that you're going to make. You can see as you open it out, so you've got little pockets, you've got a little zip pouch here, as well as these little pockets over here made out of this vinyl. And then it all folds up and is secured with some snap fasteners. This is what the pack is going to look like. So on the back of the pack, we've given you all the instructions for the items that you're going to be needing, including your fabric as well as any kind of equipment you're going to need to use in there as well. So here you have your template. This is an overlapping template, so you've got different parts overlapping each other. We try to make it as simple as possible. So you've got these little dashed points here, and you're going to use your heat erasable pens to mark through on those, to mark onto your fabric. We've also written down here how many of everything you need to have. So for example, you might need one from the outer fabric, one from the lining, one for the wadding, and one from the interfacing, but we've given all that information to you in this handy little booklet here. So we've detailed out what all those different shapes are, and they're highlighted in red, and we've also given you cutting preparation information on there, so you know exactly what you need to cut out. So here we have all those different components in order to make this storage roll. You've got your 2 pieces of outer fabric with wadding or batting adhered to them. You've got your 2 pieces of lining fabric which have got the interfacing added to them. And then you've got your left hand side flap, you've got your pockets, you've also got your binding fabric, you've got the little piece to make the pen pocket, and you've also got your vinyl to make those little pockets too. And you're going to fold your binding in half along the long edge, and then press and fold, and then fold the other long edges to the centre and press. Then you fold in half to hide any raw edges. Cut the strip in the binding into 3 9-inch strips and 2 5-inch pieces. Just give it a bit of an iron to make sure it's all pressed nice and neatly. So you take your vinyl pocket and you want to put a piece of binding over the top of that vinyl pocket. So you just place that inside the other parts of the binding, and you then need to just stitch along using your sewing machine, a running stitch, just to secure it in place. We're then going to take the outer panels. So we've got the outer panel, we've got the middle panel, and we've also got that curved end panel. And we want to stitch all of those together. So we're going to take those right sides together and then stitch along the side. And then open it up, and we're going to do exactly the same with the other side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the snap fasteners in. So for these we're using the Threaders screw hole punch, and we're using some of the snap fasteners that came from the snap fastener kit. So what we want to do is we want to mark out onto the item where we want to put the holes, and then we want to make sure that we're in the correct place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take something hard like a book or a coaster, and we're going to use the hole punch to create a little bit of a hole. Place the relevant parts of the snap fastener into that little hole. So we've got the little silver holder which is going to keep everything in place, and I'm just going to pop the snap fastener through that little hole, and then I'm going to take the other part of the snap fastener and place it on top. Then using the tool that comes with the kit, you'll see that the tools have little concave holes. Those are to go over those little pieces of the snap fastener, and the other piece that I've got in my hand is to secure the other part of the snap fastener. So I'm going to place this over the top of that little part, and we're going to hit it a couple of times with a hammer just to secure it in place. The next thing we're going to do is a little pen pocket. So we've got 2 pieces of fabric here. One has the interface facing on the side, and the other one is just a plain piece. We're just going to put those right sides together, and we're going to stitch along the short side and then down at the very bottom as well, just to secure it in place. What we also want to do is just cut the little corner off that little edge there so it folds out nicely. So here's one, you can see how that's been stitched all around, and we're going to turn it the right way round now. So that little corner that we've poked out is going to allow us to have a nice sharp corner on this little pocket here. So you can see I'm just pushing that through, making sure it's nice and even, and we'll give it a quick iron as well afterwards. Then what we need to do is we want to stitch along that top line there just to finish it off so it looks nice and neat. We're then going to position the pen pocket on the bottom left corner of the left side pocket, and you'll see you're going to line up the raw edges here, and you're going to want to secure it in place with some stitches. So we want to put some stitches running all the way down, so you've got those little places to pop your pens in it. So we're going to start with the little zip pocket now, and this is one made out of vinyl. We're going to take a piece of binding and we're going to pop that piece of vinyl inside the binding, and we're going to stitch along using our sewing machine to secure it in place. Next thing we want to do is attach the zip to it. So we're going to then lift up that piece of fabric with the binding, and then using the sewing machine we're going to stitch along down there. You also want to do exactly the same with the binding on the other side to create that zip pocket in full. Then we take that little vinyl zip panel, we're going to place that on the top part of that section, and you want to make sure you sort of secured it with some running stitches just so it's all in place. Now we want to secure the piece of binding along this section. So we've folded it the same way we've done all the rest of our binding. So we folded it in half and then folded those raw edges in as well. And then we're just going to secure it by popping that little section inside the binding, and then we want to stitch it all together. We then want to add everything to that lining panel. And so we've got the lining panel together with that other section. We just want to stitch around the outside to keep it all together. And doing the other pockets in exactly the same way as we've done before with the vinyl. We've got our binding fabric, we're putting the binding across the top of the vinyl, and then we're going to stitch those in place. So now we want to attach the vinyl pockets to the lining parts of the storage roll. So you can see here we've got that sort of curved edge, so this is the flat pocket, and we've got the vinyl pocket attached just down that side over there. We're going to do exactly the same with the other piece of lining fabric. So this is the centre part. So you've got the centre part of the lining fabric, and you've also got the vinyl pocket popped in there. Once you've done that, you want to sew those two pieces together, and that's going to create those two sort of flat pockets on the main body of the bag. We want to finish off by adding everything together. So we're taking the other panel and we are stitching along the outside. So you've got three panels. You've got the left-hand panel, you've got the middle panel, and the side panel attached. So we've got our outside panel and we've got the inside panel, and we want to stitch them all together. So you can see you've got all those different pockets in there, and we've got the snap fasteners on the outside of our bag. We want to put them right sides together and then pin them, and then we want to stitch all the way around the outside, leaving a small gap just at the bottom in order for us to turn it out. So here is your finished storage roll. You've got your little snap fasteners here, and as you open it up, you'll be able to see you've got all of those little pockets, your pen holder in there, and that zip pocket as well. So all of this has been made using our brand new Threaders storage templates for the storage roll.